Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film a little vlog on how to survive hyperemesis because I'm 22 weeks now and I have just about gotten over it about 4 to 6 weeks ago. I'm still occasionally sick now and I'm still taking anti-sickness tablets. Fortunately, whenever I try to reduce them, I'm just back to square one again. But I'm here to say that it does get better, and here are some tips to help you get through it. Tip number 1, try and stay hydrated. However you can do this, I know it's so hard. I couldn't really keep water down. As soon as I swallowed it, it'd be back up again. But there is certain and ice pops. I think the real coldness of them just helped keep them down. And also, just doing little tiny sips of things. Fizzy water was another one that was really good for me. So San Pellegrino was recommended loads of times. Apparently it's recommended for people who are going through chemo, who've got sickness. For me, I got some San Pellegrino, but then I just got soda water and it sort of worked similarly. And as long as you can keep some down, that's the main thing, is keeping it down. Just try and keep on trying. Tip number 2 is trying to eat. I know it's ridiculous. You are throwing up all day, you feel like death, you can't move, and I'm telling you to eat. Well, I wanted to maybe elbow someone in the face if they would have said that to me at that point. But I'm telling you, please just try, even if it is a lick of a breadstick, just try and eat something. Grazing throughout the day. Don't bother about worrying about the nutritional value of something. If you want to eat it, but don't go too far and sort of eat lots of it, because you'll then possibly associate it with being sick if you are sick a lot. But your stomach won't be able to cope with it because it's not used to that much food. So little and often. I know I'm annoying with that because I hated it when people said it. I would take crackers to bed before I woke up in the morning. I would take a tablet sort of in the middle of the night. So I had it that bad that I would oh, a bumblebee. Sorry, bumblebee just went past my window. Oh god, my attention span. I would have them at the side of my bed in a drawer, in a little pouch, because I've got kids so I didn't really want them out. And when I would wake up in the night to be sick, because I would always wake up in the night being sick, I would take one and have a drink of water, so then it had time to sort of settle in my belly while I was asleep. And hopefully then in the morning I would feel a bit better. So first of all, the medication that I've been taking is cyclizine. Now this is a recommended anti-sickness drug for pregnant ladies, and I was so cautious about taking it, and I know why. It's because I don't want to take anything really if it's going to affect the baby, if it's going to have any side effects, and I just really didn't want to take anything or put anything in my body that I didn't need to be in there. But it was getting to a point where I was nearly being hospitalised and all I could keep down was an ice pop. So it was either that or that there could have been something more serious with me being really poorly. So I made that decision, and it's not something that I took lightly neither, because I'd spoke about it with my husband and I honestly felt like a bit of a failure. I think because with my other two I was sick, but I could still function, whereas this time it was just no chance, absolutely no chance. Everything made me sick. I couldn't look at my phone, I couldn't look at the telly, I was just like a zombie. And as I was coming out of it, which I think was probably about 18 weeks properly, I would still have to take a cup, like a travel cup, to school when I was doing the school run. It's awful. It is awful. So, more tips to surviving it. Hey? Talk to somebody. Now, if there is anything I've learned from social media, there are so many people suffering in silence, especially in that first trimester when nobody tells anybody that they're pregnant. It's almost like this secret that you have to keep to yourself, that you're really ill, and yet nobody really knows about it. And you can excuse it to stomach bugs, you can excuse it to whatever you want if you don't want to share with people. But I would say, if the reason that you don't want people to know that you're pregnant is because you worry about the higher risk of miscarriage or losing your baby before 12 weeks, it's really awful to say, but there isn't actually a safe time during pregnancy. It's just less likely to happen after the first trimester. But if you need that support, and I'm talking if you really need that support, reach out to somebody. You telling somebody that you're pregnant is not going to make a difference to that baby growing inside you. All it does is make a difference to your sort of mental health, your support. If you want to tell your boss and for them to keep it confidential, then they can put in place support at work. But I would 100% recommend talk to somebody, even if it's a stranger on Instagram, on YouTube, somebody who you don't know properly, just to see whether they've been through it. I know there was so many people who'd been through it on Instagram when I was talking about it, and to be fair, I didn't really go on social media that much when I was that ill because I just couldn't, and I was so ill. Try and get some fresh air. It's awful because the majority of your life when you're suffering from hyperemesis or hyperemesis, however you want to pronounce it, most of your life is spent in the bathroom or in your bedroom, and you can't move, you look like a skeleton. It's just terrible. But even just opening the window or standing in your back garden for 5 minutes and try and listen to the birds tweet. It sounds ridiculous, but just trying to get some of that fresh air inside, it does make you feel a little bit better. Now, part of hyperemesis or hyperemesis is that you may produce saliva more than you did before. Now, this overproduction of saliva has a particular name. I had it so bad that I would have to literally take a cup to school, like just in case I would be sick, to spit in the cup. I'd have to take tissues everywhere to wipe, and it was I think that was the most embarrassing thing, and it still feels a bit raw to admit and talk about that. But it's these things that people need to talk about, because if nobody's talking about it, then you think you're weird and you think that there's something going on with you that there shouldn't be. Pregnancy is so hard regardless of how sick you are. It's a really difficult time. It's beautiful, do not get me wrong. I adore being pregnant, the fact that I'm growing a human. Like, hello, I'm just busy over here just growing some eyes and ears and all the internal organs. Yeah, I'm just doing that in my uterus. That's amazing. But for me, that comes at a cost. I've been so poorly, and I know that so many of you are exactly the same but won't talk to anybody about it. So that's why I'm filming this, hoping that it will open the conversation. And even if you don't comment, that it's here just to say, and I'm here to say, that you're not on your own and there is light at the end of the tunnel. It does get better. I'm 22 weeks now and I feel normal-ish, and I'm not being sick 40-50 times a day, waking up in the night being sick, first thing in the morning not being able to move out of the bathroom for an hour. It does get better. Please hold out. It does get better. Now let's talk medication. So lots of you don't know that medication is available for pregnant women to help with sickness. If it gets to a point where you're not being able to keep water, any liquids, any fluids down, and it's impacting your life to a certain degree, I would highly recommend going speaking to your GP, speak to your midwife. A medication might not be the one thing that you want to take. I didn't, and I didn't take it on my first two. This time, There was no other option. I had to take it. I just had to. So each person and each pregnancy is completely different. You just do you, and if you want to take the medication, take it. Of course, do your research, look into the side effects, look into how long that medication's been used, how long it's been prescribed for. Cyclizine has been used for absolutely years. There are other options, and there are a few that I was offered, but I decided to stay on cyclizine and stick with the side effects. The side effects for me were real drowsiness. I'm talking, take a tablet, 20 minutes later I'm knocked out for 4 hours. Not in a knocked out like I can't wake up, but I started taking them in the middle of the day when Mike was there and the kids were there, and I just said to Mike, I'm going to have to go to bed. I couldn't keep my head. I was like this, I'm going to have to go to bed. I think these tablets have made me really, really drowsy. And I figured out that actually the way that I needed to work around that was to split the tablets in half. They were really easy to do. The tablets are only so small, but they've already got like a perforated line sort of thing down the middle. And I just snapped them in half. So I would try and take one before I got to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when I'd get up to be sick, and take one after I'd been sick with a bit of water, go back to sleep for like half an hour, and that would take the drowsiness off so I wasn't drowsy in the morning. And then I would take one at night time, and I built them up in my system that way over the period of about 2 or 3 weeks. And eventually that drowsiness went. I didn't have any other side effects, and I still take, so I take 3 a day, but for the past few weeks I've been trying to take 2 or 1 a day. I did do 2 days where I had none, and the 3rd day after stopping, the whole day I was sick. So I know I can't completely stop taking them just yet, but I just keep on trying to stop taking them. However, some people have to take them for their entire pregnancy. Don't judge them for that. That's just how it is. It's how they cope, and especially if you've got other children. Do what works for you. I think overall, just try and be kind to yourself. That's a big, big thing. You can feel so guilty, especially if you've got other children, and it can just feel lonely, really lonely, especially when you can't use your phone, watch anything on telly. It can feel pretty rough. So really do try and reach out to somebody, and try and just be nice to yourself. It's a really difficult subject because I can still remember thinking, if anyone tells me to eat a ginger biscuit, I am going to cry, because ginger over the years has been used for nausea, but for me it just doesn't work. It really doesn't. And it's not the person who's telling you, it's not their fault. It really isn't. They don't know how many people have told you to eat a ginger biscuit, and for them it might have worked. It's the same thing as me telling you to sip soda water, or eat ice cubes, or ice pops, or crackers, or breadsticks, or dry toast. Just try and figure out what works for you and go with it. The nausea might not go away, the sickness might not go away, but nobody's pregnant forever. Just remember that. Eventually this baby will be here and be able to hold that baby in your arms and that love, and you will completely forget about all of this. You will. Maybe not completely forget about it, but the level that you're at, or that you might be at now, it does get better. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please, please, please do, if you have any questions at all, pop them below in the comments and I will try my best to answer them. Obviously I'm not an expert, I'm not a nurse, but I can only speak from my experience, and that's all that this is just my experience, and I hope that it helps some of you, maybe even just a little bit. But take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you soon.